So you got your home inspection. Now what? Negotiations, my favorite, coming up right now. Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Alhadeff. Welcome to my channel where we talk about real estate and real estate investing. So if that sounds like your interest, please subscribe on the links below and let's get started. So you got your home inspection. So now what do you need? You need more inspections and quotes. So let's talk about some of the inspections that I recommend when you're getting your general inspection, which is the pool inspection if you have one, a chimney inspection if you want to use it, a termite inspection, and a sewer inspection. I did a whole video on inspections, so check out the links below, but let's talk about the next steps. So what you're going to want to focus on big ticket items. The health and safety of your house is the most important one. So that includes faulty or outdated wiring. Any major electrical problems can cause safety concerns. Mold. This is another health and safety concern that needs to be addressed. Termite damage. Left untreated, this can run amok and cause a lot of money and damage to your property. Major plumbing and sewer issues can cause a lot of damage, extensive damage in the future. Major mechanical problems such as your HVAC system, which is your heating, ventilation, air conditioning unit, and your water heater needs to be working properly. And then some other items such as foundation, a leaky roof, and pool problems. These are all big ticket items that need to be addressed. So what are you gonna do? You'll need to hire specialists for all the problems. You might need a roofer and an electrician, but another way to go about it is to hire one contractor, a general contractor, who can give you quotes for all of those items so you know how much they cost. Another way to do it is to use repairpricer.com. This is a great service where you upload your own report, and in 24 hours, they'll give you a detailed estimate of repairs back to you. It's a different alternative to hiring a lot of different specialists, especially if you have a tight inspection window. Some inspection windows are 7 to 10 days, and you might not be able to get all your quotes right away. So this is a really good program for that. I will leave the link to the website below, but please know I do make a commission on that. Things not to ask for. Don't ask for landscaping or other things that you saw going through the house, such as wallpaper or paint or any brass light fixture that you didn't like. These things you should not ask for. Don't ask for small fixes like missing caulking or a loose toilet. These are very inexpensive things that you can get done on your own. Don't ask for normal wear and tear. Every house that's been lived in will have some imperfections. So now that we're armed with all the quotes and what not to ask for, we can start figuring out what we want to approach the seller with. So some states, actually most states, have an as-is contract, and that's basically buyer beware. That's why we do all these inspections in the first place. They don't have to do anything. It varies by state, so ask your realtor. So before starting the negotiation, you might want to think about the following items. So the state of the local housing market. Right now, the housing market is on fire. It's a seller's market, and you might not be able to get all your requests for repairs. If it's a buyer's market, the seller might be more generous with you. Along those lines, think about how long the property has been on the market. If it's been a week and there was 21 offers, again, you're probably not going to get a lot of requests for repairs. However, it is a buyer's market and it's been on the market for 90 days. You will most likely get more of the requests for your repairs because the seller might be more desperate to sell. Think about the house history and its age. If it's a 100-year-old house, maybe the things in the house are from that time period and that was the code at that time. So you might not be able to ask for that type of item. Think about the severity of the problem. If it's a huge foundation problem that needs to get fixed, then that's a priority. But if it's a smaller item that can wait a couple years, that might not be a priority for you. Think about how much you really want this house. Did you look for houses for a long time and found the perfect house in the right neighborhood that's absolutely perfect for your family and checked off the majority of your boxes? Then you might not want to give up on this house right away. So think about that as well. And then think think about the size and the costs of the repairs and your budget. If there's these two large items, let's say the foundation and the plumbing, and it's $80,000 to fix, maybe you don't have the budget to do that. Or think about what you wanted to do with remodeling. You had this budget to come into the house and you wanted to remodel it, and now you have to spend that money on stuff that you can't even see. That happens a lot. So think about all these items before you go into the negotiating table. There are 3 ways to negotiate a request for repair. The first way, which I think is the least desirable way, is to ask the seller to fix the problems. There are a number of reasons why this is problematic. One is the seller has the least amount of skin in the game, and they are going to hire the cheapest contractor possible and try to do this the cheapest way possible. A way to mitigate that is to ask for a specific contractor in your negotiations, but they can say no. This does not always work out in the buyer's benefit. In one house, there was a bathroom and there were several tiles missing. Well, the tile color was purple, and when at the end of the negotiation and when the buyers went through the walkthrough, sellers fixed it, but they put in white tiles. So they had a purple bathroom with several white tiles. So this wasn't beneficial to the buyer at all, you know, so this is something that you might want to consider. Another item is the seller might not be living there now. So who's going to manage the contractors? They might be coming in and out of the house and they're doing their own thing and nobody's really watching over them. So that's not a benefit to the buyer. Another reason is the seller may not have the money to do this. This is coming out of the seller's pocket at this moment, and they might not have the money to do it. They might be able to negotiate with a contractor to put this repairs in escrow, but that's pretty much the last resort. So they might not have the money to do it. And the final reason is the repairs may take longer than the escrow period and your rate lock. So if it's a big item like a foundation or a sewer repair and the escrow is only 30 days and they only have a couple weeks to do it, and that's not going to take enough time, and then your rate lock will expire. So a second choice that makes a lot of sense for many buyers is to ask the seller to credit the buyer closing costs in lieu of all repairs. As a buyer, you will have a lot of closing costs. We'll do a video, the true cost of buying a house, but in the meantime, closing costs include title, escrow fees, lender's fees, insurance, taxes, etc., etc. You get the point. What you need to do when negotiating a closing cost credit is to ask your realtor or escrow officer or title officer for an accurate estimate of closing costs. This is really important because let's say the seller gave you $10,000 in closing costs, which is great, and that's what you negotiated. However, your closing costs are actually $8,000. All you're gonna get at the closing table is $8,000, and you have no recourse for the other $2,000. You left that on the table. So it's really important to find out how much your closing costs are, and you can do a combination of both, closing costs and reduce the price, which means third way and my favorite way to negotiate is just reduce the sales price. This is really beneficial for a lot of people who have a big down payment or are paying cash, and in California it's beneficial because your tax rate is based on your sales price. So the cheaper your sales price, the cheaper your taxes are at the end. So it's a good way to negotiate with the sellers is to reduce the sales price. Now I understand a lot of people would want to take the closing costs, that way they have more money and that they can use it for the repairs. So it just depends on your situation, but you can do a combo. Let's say $5,000 in closing costs and $5,000 a reduction in the sales price. So now let's talk about tips for negotiating. So first of all, you want to be reasonable. The seller has lived here for a long time and the house is probably perfect for them. So they don't even realize that there's things wrong with the house. They may be shocked by the reports and the quotes. So put yourself in their shoes and try and figure out what they're going through. Let the seller know you're really excited about the house and that you really want to move forward and remove your contingencies. But the main point here is health and safety issues, and they don't want you living in a house that's not safe. You should also know that this is a negotiation and you're not going to get everything you ask for. And know when to stop negotiating. The seller is going to probably eventually give you their best and final deal, and that's when you say, okay, great, and stop negotiating, or you walk away. And you should know that. You should know when you want to walk away for the deal. In business school, we learned BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated deal. This is the point where you know at some point you're going to walk away from the deal if it doesn't come in at a certain amount, because it just doesn't make sense for you at this time. Please know that about 20% of deals fall out of escrow. So it's not that uncommon for this to happen. I know buyers feel bad about it falling out of escrow. And if you do feel like this house is too much, you go find another house that has less work, or maybe you want a new construction where you can get everything new and that doesn't need a lot of repairs. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video.